Hi there, I'm Mr. Orr, and today we are taking a look at the law of cosines. In a previous video, we derived the law of cosines. Now we're going to use it to solve problems. The law of cosines actually comes in three forms, but they are all very closely related. A squared, and remember, these A, B, and C are the side lengths, whereas the A, B, and C over here are the angles. So, one case is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus this entire quantity 2bc times the cosine of a. The next version, and notice some things about this. These two are the side lengths that are not here. These two match these two, and this angle measure goes with this side length. All right, you'll see that as we do the next one, I think. So here we have b squared. So that means these two have to be the two that are not b squared. That means a and c. These two are also a and c. And b over here matches up with its opposite side, b over here. I'm putting these in parentheses over here because sometimes I see a number gets put in here for 2ac and then subtracted from whatever this is. But you can't do that because that number is multiplied by the cosine over here, and so this is a unit. So if you think of it as in parentheses, you won't be tempted to subtract out whatever number this is out of whatever you got here. Okay, the last one, c squared, so these two have to be the other two, a and b. These two match these two, a and b, and this angle matches up with its opposite side, c. Now, those all serve the same purpose. They are simply different versions depending on what you have available. So let's take a look at this problem that I've drawn here. First of all, we cannot use the law of sines to solve this problem, because if I try to do sine of 47 over a equals sine of c over 27 or equals sine of b over 22, I would have two variables. And I need two equations to solve two variables, and I wouldn't have two equations, so we need something else. And that's the law of cosines. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to solve for angle A. For side length A. So that's this one. So a squared is equal to 22 squared plus 27 squared minus, parentheses, 2 times 22 times 27 cosine of angle A. Now, because I'm running into the triangle here, I'm going to circle that so you can see it. All right, so again, what we have, I plugged in numbers. That's really all I did. By the way, let's plug in the final number over here. Angle A is 47, so this should really be cosine of 47. That leaves me with just one variable right here. Okay, now all we have to do is multiply it all out and add it up. But just to say again, I put in 22 for B, I put in 27 for C, again 22 for B, 27 for C, and I put in 47 for angle A. So let's go to the calculator. 22 squared, and I'll do this in a couple of steps. I don't like to do it all at once. 22 squared is 484, so I have a squared equals 484 plus 27 squared is 729 minus, parentheses, 2 times 22 times 27 times cosine 47. And that gives me 810.21. All right, I add these two together and subtract that. So I get 484 plus 729, 484 plus 729 equals 1213. So a squared equals 1213 minus 810.21. So I subtract the 810.21 and I get 402.79. So a squared, let's write that a little better, a squared equals 402.779. Take the square root of both sides and the square root of 4, so I do second, square root, second answer to call that answer back, and I get 20.07. So this side length here, 20.07. Now let's take a look at that. Does that make any sense at this point? Well, yes, it does, because it's in the ballpark of these others. 27, 22, 20. Now, what we don't know is these two angles yet. We're about to find those out. You do not have to use the law of cosines more than once in a problem, because look, now I can use the law of sines. Sine of 47 over 20.07 equals sine of b over 22, or equals sine of c over 27. So, the reason I do that is because most people think the law of sines is a little bit easier to apply than the law of cosines. So, we revert to the law of sines at this point, and I do sine 47 over its opposite side, 20.07, is equal to sine b over its opposite side, 22. Cross multiply, 22 sine 47 equals 20.07 sine b. And it's a b, in case you didn't recognize it. Okay, divide by 20.07. Divide by 20.07. That's going to give me sine b. And so 22 sine 47. Get a number, hit enter, divide by 20.07 equals 0.8017. 0.8017 equals sine b. And remember, we're going to be doing the second button, the inverse. So, I do second sine 0.8017 equals 53.29. That's angle B. All right? You can now find angle C, and then you can apply the law of sines again. You can say sine of whatever number this is over C equals sine of 47 over 20.07. All right, and I'm not going to finish this problem because that would be repeating some things that we've already done in previous videos. What I am going to do, though, is make one more video on the law of cosines in which we have a situation where we don't have an angle measure, but we do have all three sides. Because in that case, you also cannot use the law of sines, so we will use the law of cosines. So I'll be back shortly with that video. Thank you.